The silent cradle. The wind moved through the trees of Sector 9's forgotten forest, carrying a strange scent in the air. Liam Hunt, a lone backpacker and former field medic, had been walking for hours, searching for shelter from the coming storm. As the clouds thickened above him, a faint noise caught his attention. Something that didn't belong to nature. It was a cry not of an animal, not of a human, but something else. "Please, human, my baby won't wake up," the voice said. Again, weak and trembling, Liam froze, his boots sinking into the wet soil. He wasn't sure if his mind was playing tricks on him, but the voice had spoken English. He followed the sound, pushing past broken branches and glowing vines until he found it. A crashed alien vessel, covered in moss and leaking pale blue light from shattered panels. Near its open hatch, a creature lay on the ground, holding something wrapped in a glowing cocoon. The being had silver skin, long white hair, and golden eyes filled with panic and sorrow. The alien mother looked up, her face lit by the dim lights of the broken ship. "You are human," she said in a soft voice, full of both fear and hope. "My child is not breathing," she continued, holding the small glowing pod tighter. Liam's training kicked in, and he moved slowly toward her, his hands raised. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said, kneeling beside her. He looked at the pod. It was shaped like an egg, but made of living crystal inside. A small creature lay still, its chest barely moving. "Your child," he whispered, scanning the pod for anything that resembled a control panel. "She's not dead," the alien said quickly, "but she won't wake up, not without a human." Liam stared at her, confused. "What do you mean, not without a human?" he asked. "My people made a pact with your kind long ago," she explained, tears falling down her cheeks. "Certain emergency systems in our tech can only be activated by human DNA." He looked at her, unsure whether to believe such a wild story, but the panic in her eyes was real, and the child inside the pod didn't have much time. "What's your name?" he asked softly. "Miria," she replied. "I'm a mother, and I am begging you." Liam took a deep breath and pressed his palm against the surface of the pod. For a second, nothing happened. Then, a soft blue light traveled across the pod and scanned his hand. The crystal shifted and a tiny panel opened, showing pulsing symbols. Miria gasped, "It's working." Liam tried to read the symbols, but they changed too quickly. One of them turned red, and suddenly the pod released a loud tone. The baby inside moved, gasped once, then fell still again. Miria cried out and held the pod to her chest. Liam checked the baby's pulse, barely there, but alive. "She needs more help," he said. "This pod won't keep her stable much longer." Suddenly, a loud buzzing filled the air. Liam turned, seeing red lights in the sky drones, mechanical and sharp, scanning the area. "They found us," Miria whispered. "You need to run." "No," Liam said. "I'm not leaving you." He grabbed her arm and pulled her to her feet, guiding her into the trees. Branches scraped their skin, but they didn't stop. Behind them, the drones landed near the wreckage and scanned the ground. Liam and Miria hid under a thick fallen log, breathing hard. The baby's pod glowed faintly now, growing dimmer with each passing second. "She's fading," Miria whispered, her voice breaking. Liam clenched his jaw. "We need to get to my bunker. It's nearby." Miria looked at him, unsure if she could trust this human. But he had saved her child, or at least bought her time. She nodded, and they crawled out from under the log and started moving again. They reached an old human emergency bunker, half buried under roots and dirt. Liam unlocked it with an old keycard, and the door creaked open. Inside, it smelled of rust and dust, but it had supplies and power. He laid the baby pod on the table and connected it to a portable power unit. The pod glowed again, slightly brighter. Liam turned to Miria, who looked completely exhausted. "I'll try to fix the rest of the systems, just hold on," he said. Miria looked at him, her golden eyes filled with something new hope. Then she looked at the pod and whispered, "Please, little one, stay with me." As Liam worked on connecting data wires to the pod, A new screen lit up. It displayed something strange, a human face. Ancient, but familiar. He leaned closer. And his breath caught. It looked exactly like him. Asterisk, the genetic lock inside the bunker. Old lights flickered as the system came alive for the first time in years. Liam wiped sweat from his forehead and checked the pod again. The baby's color was improving slightly, but she still didn't move. Miria sat quietly on the floor, holding her knees, her silver skin now dull from exhaustion. How long was she like this before I arrived? Liam asked. Miria's voice was faint. Since the crash 2 days, she is strong, but without the bonding protocol, her body can't restore itself. Liam blinked. Bonding protocol? Miria nodded slowly. Our emergency birthing systems are ancient, from the time of the first contact with humans, built to respond only to a human's presence. A failsafe designed by our ancestors, who believed humans would never abandon us. Liam frowned. Well, I didn't even know your species existed until yesterday. She looked at him with tired eyes. Many don't. The treaty was broken long before your generation. Liam connected a data line from the pod into an old medical reader. It buzzed, glitched, then displayed something unexpected, a lock icon with the word, awaiting primary match. What is this thing expecting from me? Liam whispered. The machine scanned his face and then blinked red. Genetic mismatch. It said in a robotic voice. Miria stood, her body shaking. There must be a deeper layer, she said. Try your blood. Liam hesitated, then took a small sterilized needle and pricked his finger. He let a single drop of blood fall into the pod scanner. This time, the lock symbol changed, turning yellow. Then pulsing, the pod opened slightly, releasing a cool mist. The baby's chest rose slowly, then fell. Her small fingers twitched. Miria gasped, her hands flying to her mouth. She's breathing. Liam watched closely as new data scrolled across the screen, strange symbols and numbers. A small voice inside the pod whispered a word that wasn't English, but it made Miria weep. That was her first word. She said, light. Before Liam could speak, the system beeped again and displayed a new message. Lineage match, 98%. What does that mean? Liam asked. Miria leaned over the pod, reading the data. It means she recognizes you. That's not possible, Liam said, backing away. Miria looked at him, her voice calm. You carry the blood of the ancients. Your DNA matches a line from our oldest human allies. Liam shook his head. I'm just a guy from New Oregon, raised by my grandma, worked in medicine for a few years. No space magic. No history books full of secrets. Miria placed a hand gently on his arm. Maybe your family forgot, she said, but the blood remembers. Suddenly, alarms buzzed on the bunker's old console. A proximity alert flashed red. Scanners active outside, Liam said quickly. We're not alone. He pulled up the old security feed, which flickered and blinked, showing the forest outside. 2 small scout drones hovered silently through the trees, their red sensors glowing. Are they looking for you? He asked. Miria's face turned pale. They're not scouts, she whispered. They're extractors. What's an extractor? They recover important cargo from crash sites, living or dead. They don't care about mercy. Liam grabbed his old rifle from the locker and loaded a battery cell. You stay here with your child, he said firmly. I'll handle this. Miria looked at him with fear. You don't understand. If they see her awake, they'll mark her as activated. They'll want to use her, study her, maybe even clone her. Liam tightened his grip on the rifle. Then they'll have to get through me first. He left through the hidden rear exit and crouched behind a fallen tree, watching the drones scan the crash trail they had left. He aimed and waited, breathing slowly, when one drone flew close. Liam fired a clean shot that knocked it out of the sky. The second drone turned immediately, locking onto his location. It fired a beam of plasma that scorched the bark behind him. Liam rolled and shot again, hitting the drone's sensor. It spiraled and exploded into the canopy. Smoke filled the air, but Liam didn't wait. He sprinted back to the bunker, heart pounding. When he entered, he found Miria standing beside the pod. Her face full of awe, the baby had opened her eyes glowing faintly with a soft purple hue. "She's awake," Miria whispered. "And she's looking at you." Liam stepped closer, unsure what to say. The baby reached out, her tiny fingers glowing slightly as they touched his wrist. The pod screen blinked and displayed a new message. "Bonded." Miria stared in disbelief. "That's not supposed to happen. Only a blood parent or guardian can trigger that connection." Liam looked at her confused. "So what am I now?" She stepped back, then said, "To her, you're the protector." Liam turned to the console again, reading one final line. "Vital functions restored, Guardian DNA registered, new lineage initiated." Outside, more lights appeared in the sky, heading their way. Liam knew their time was running out. Whatever this child was, whatever she had awakened in him, others would come to claim it, and he would not let them have her. Memories of a lost pack. The bunker was silent, except for the soft humming of the alien pod. The baby, small, glowing, fragile, slept peacefully now, but Liam couldn't sleep. He sat near the edge of the room, staring at the old monitor still displaying the words, "New lineage initiated." Miria leaned against the wall, her long silver fingers trembling as she touched the edge of the pod. "She's stable," she whispered, her voice full of wonder and fear. "I never thought she would bond with a human." Liam rubbed his eyes. "You keep saying that like it's impossible." Miria sat down across from him, her golden eyes staring deep into his. "Because it was," she said. "Our kind built this system thousands of cycles ago. At that time, humans and our species had a sacred alliance. We protected one another." Liam frowned. "That's not in any history book I read." Miria's voice grew quiet. "Because your leaders erased it. After the betrayal." Liam sat up straighter. "What betrayal?" Miria's gaze dropped to the floor, her voice now heavy. "There was a human fleet called the Horizon Pact. They helped us escape extinction during the Great Collapse. In return, we gave your people knowledge healing technology, environmental stabilizers, memory cores. But then, something changed. A new human council rose, and they demanded control over the cradle children." "Cradle children?" Liam asked. Miria pointed to the sleeping baby. "Children born from genetic harmony. Born between advanced alien design and human life essence. Living beings made to link both species." Liam looked at the baby again, a chill crawling down his back. "So she's not just alien," he said. "She's part human." Miria nodded slowly. "Yes, her body, her mind, even her energy designed to awaken only when near one of the ancient line." Liam ran a hand through his hair, thinking. "I don't know who my ancestors were," he said. "I was raised by my grandmother. She said my parents died during a medical supply raid." Miria leaned closer, her voice softer now. "Maybe your bloodline was hidden, protected, because there are still those who want the cradle children gone." Suddenly, the pod pulsed blue again, and a new set of images appeared on the screen. Liam moved closer, watching what looked like an old memory file playing. It showed humans and alien beings together, smiling, working in harmony. Then came images of fire, warships, betrayal, and finally, destruction. One frame froze on the face of a human wearing an old military jacket. He had Liam's exact face, only older, more hardened. Underneath the image were the words, "Commander Elias Hunt, Guardian of the Pact." Liam's chest tightened. "That's my last name," he said. Miria's eyes widened. "You're his blood. He was the one who saved us during the Exodus War." Liam stared at the screen, silent. "I never knew," he whispered. Before he could think more, the bunker's radar lit up red. Multiple contacts were approaching fast from the sky. Miria looked at the signal with dread. "They've found us again," she said. "But this time they're not drones. Liam ran to the storage room and grabbed a signal jammer and a flare pistol. "They're too fast," he muttered. "We need a new plan." Miria placed her hand on the pod, then turned to him. "There's a safe zone deep in the old mountains. Our kind once hid there before the war. But it's far," Liam thought quickly. "There's a transport bike buried near here. Old military model. If I can get it running, we can ride through the valleys." Before they could move, the pod lit up again, this time brighter than before. The baby's eyes opened, and her hand reached out, touching the monitor lines. Of data filled the screen, and the lights in the bunker surged. "What is she doing?" Liam asked, shocked. Miria stepped closer, eyes wide. "She's remembering," she said. "The core is uploading the lost knowledge into her." The baby blinked and looked at Liam, her voice soft. "Guardian." Liam knelt beside her, speechless. The baby placed her tiny hand over his chest and whispered, "Protect," then. Her glow faded slightly as she returned to sleep, but the monitor now showed something else: coordinates. Pulsing in green, "The Lost Mountain Sanctuary," Miria whispered. "She knows where to go. She remembers everything." A loud rumble shook the ground above them. Drops of dirt fell from the ceiling, and the emergency lights blinked. "They're landing," Liam said. "We have 5 minutes, maybe less." Miria grabbed the baby pod and nodded. "I'll follow your lead," she said. "You are the guardian now." Liam didn't respond. He just moved, through the back exit, into the stormy woods, wind howling through the trees. The past was no longer forgotten. The pact was real, and it lived inside the child he now swore to protect, and others, those who wanted her power, were closing in fast. The chasers from the sky lightning cracked across the dark sky as Liam steered the old hover bike through the rocky pass. Rain splashed against his face, mixing with sweat and mud. Behind him, Miria held the baby close, her silver arms wrapped tight around the glowing pod. The child didn't cry, but her light flickered as if sensing danger. Above them, 3 alien ships cut through the clouds, triangular and black, each one hunting without mercy, their scanners slicing through the mountain air. "They're close," Miria whispered, her voice tight with fear. "They're using pulse seekers." Liam didn't answer, his eyes locked on the jagged trail ahead. One mistake, one wrong turn, and they'd crash into the ravine below. He pressed harder on the throttle, pushing the bike to its limits. The engine groaned, but held steady. Back in the bunker, he had only enough time to grab an old navigation disc. It was linked to the sanctuary shown by the baby's vision. Now every second mattered, and the baby's safety was the only thing. In his mind, a sudden flash in the sky made Liam look up. One of the chaser ships fired a blinding bolt of energy. The beam struck the side of the cliff, causing a landslide. "Hold on!" Liam shouted as he swerved to avoid the falling rocks. The bike leapt into the air. Over a broken ledge, they landed hard, the wheels skidding on wet stone. Miria held the child tighter, shielding her with her body. "We can't outrun them for long," she said, coughing. Liam scanned the terrain, spotting a narrow tunnel ahead. "If we make it there, they won't be able to follow," he said. He turned sharply, guiding the bike through a curtain of vines. They vanished into the darkness. Just as the enemy ships passed overhead, inside the cave, it was silent, except for the soft hum of the pod. Liam parked the bike and helped Miria down. They sat near the wall, breathing hard. The baby's eyes were open again, but now filled with fear. "She senses them," Miria said, placing a hand over her child's chest. "She knows they're not just chasing us, they're chasing her." Liam clenched his fists. "Why? What do they want with her?" Miria hesitated, then said, "Because she's the first true cradle child to awaken in centuries. She carries something. More than memory. She holds the seed." Liam stared at her, confused. "What seed?" "The seed of rebirth," Miria whispered. "It's not a weapon, but a living code. It can repair broken species, restore dying planets, even reset corrupted systems. And in the wrong hands, it can be twisted into destruction. Liam looked at the glowing pod, now pulsing gently in rhythm with the baby's heartbeat. "She's not just a child," he said quietly. "She's a key," Miria nodded. "A key only the Guardian can protect." Suddenly, a loud crack echoed through the cave. The rocks above them shook, dust raining down. Then came footsteps, metallic, sharp, steady. "They've landed troops," Liam said, standing up, rifle ready. From the shadows emerged 3 tall figures in black armor, their faces hidden behind reflective masks, their weapons glowing with deadly energy. One of them spoke, voice cold and without emotion. "Transfer." "The child," Liam stepped in front of the pod. "No, you'll have to go through me." The lead figure raised his weapon. "Human interference will be punished," but before he could fire, the baby's pod released a sharp pulse of light. The cave walls shook, and the armored intruders staggered backward. The baby had not moved, but her power had reacted to the threat. "She's protecting us," Miria gasped. "But it's hurting her." The baby's glow dimmed, her body going limp again inside the pod. "She's too young to use it." The soldiers recovered quickly, now aiming directly at the child. Liam raised his weapon, heart pounding. He had no plan, no backup, just instinct and a promise. Then the unexpected happened. A deep growl echoed through the cave, followed by a burst of light from behind the intruders. 2 old security bots, rusted but still active, burst from a hidden chamber, programmed long ago to defend the sanctuaries. They attacked the soldiers without hesitation. Liam grabbed the pod and pulled Miria to her feet. "Run!" he shouted as chaos broke out behind them. They rushed deeper into the cave as lasers sizzled through the air. At the end of the tunnel, a massive stone door awaited them, covered in glowing symbols. The navigation disc began to vibrate in Liam's pocket. He held it up, and the door responded, slowly opening, revealing a new world inside. Lush greenery, warm light, and ancient structures filled the hidden valley beyond. It was untouched, pure, waiting for someone to return. They had reached the sanctuary. Liam turned to Miria. "We're not safe yet, but we have a chance." And behind them, the baby stirred once more, her glow growing stronger in the heart of the place her ancestors once called home. The trial of trust. The sanctuary valley stretched wide beneath the twilight sky. Ancient alien structures stood half buried in moss and vines, glowing softly with forgotten energy. It was quiet, peaceful, but Liam felt the weight of danger still. Close behind them, he carried the baby's pod in his arms, while Miria limped beside him, clutching her side. "She's still weak," Liam said, looking down at the child. The baby's light was flickering now. "Not from fear, but from exhaustion." "She used her power to save us," Miria whispered. "She gave more than her body was ready for." They entered a tall archway carved into the side of the mountain. Inside, old lights came to life, responding to the baby's presence. Blue symbols danced along the walls, guiding them forward. As they walked deeper, the floor began to hum softly beneath their feet. Suddenly, the path opened into a vast chamber. At its center stood a stone platform surrounded by floating crystals. Miria's breath caught. "This is the Heartstone Chamber," she said. "It judges the Guardian." Liam frowned. "Judges?" Miria nodded. "It must know if you are worthy to protect the child." Before Liam could speak, the crystals lit up, forming a glowing circle around him. The pod floated from his arms, rising gently into the air. The baby's eyes opened again. But she didn't speak. Instead, a voice echoed through the chamber, not hers, not Miria's, but ancient and deep. Guardian candidate detected. It said, "Begin trial of trust." Liam looked around, confused. What kind of trial? The room shifted, the walls vanished, replaced by a blinding white space. Suddenly, Liam was alone, standing on a platform in the middle of nothing. A figure appeared before him, identical to himself. But this version wore armor, had cold eyes, and carried a weapon in each hand. "I'm you," the figure said. "The version of you that chooses fear over hope. Prove you are better." The figure charged without warning. Blades flashing with energy, Liam barely dodged the first. Strike, rolling to the side. No weapons? He shouted. This trial is not about strength. The voice echoed again. It is about choice. Liam stood his ground as the armored version rushed again. This time, Liam didn't run. He raised his hands and shouted, "Stop, I won't fight myself." The armored Liam froze mid-strike, blinking. "You'll die," he said. Liam shook his head. "If protecting her means trusting myself, I won't break that. I won't be ruled by fear." The figure lowered his blades. Eyes softening, then faded into glowing dust. The white space dissolved, and the chamber returned. The baby floated back into Liam's arms, her glow now calm and steady. Miria rushed to his side, tears in her eyes. "You passed," she whispered. "You chose the right path." The heartstone pulsed once and displayed a new symbol in the air, a silver tree growing from both human and alien roots. Below it, a message appeared in clear letters. Guardian bond confirmed. The chamber doors opened behind them, revealing a new hallway. But before they could step forward, a blast shook the sanctuary. Dust rained from above, and alarms lit. The chamber walls read, "They've breached the outer ring," Miria said, panic rising in her voice. "They're coming." Liam turned toward the hallway, holding the baby close. "We're not running again," he said. "Not until we know how to protect her for good," Miria nodded, wiping blood from her cheek. "There's one last core deep inside the sanctuary," she said. "It holds the original code of the Cradle Children, maybe even instructions to unlock her full abilities." Liam's jaw tightened. "Then we find it. She deserves to live without being hunted." Another explosion sounded behind them, closer this time. Liam helped Miria as they ran through the next corridor, following symbols that pulsed in rhythm with the child's heartbeat. They passed faded murals showing humans and aliens building together, growing together, and at the end of the path, they reached a sealed chamber. Untouched for centuries, Liam placed the pot on a pedestal in the center of the room. The baby opened her eyes and spoke again, this time with strength. "Trust," she said. "Protect." The pedestal lit up, and a massive orb of light formed above them. Within it, a memory played, an old council, human and alien, arguing about the future of Cradle Children. And then, betrayal, weapons, fear, destruction. The image faded, and a final message remained. If the Guardian chooses peace, the child will choose power. Liam looked at Miria, who nodded silently. He stepped forward and said aloud, "I choose peace." The orb responded by releasing a burst of energy that surrounded the baby. Her light grew brighter, steadier, stronger. The child was no longer just surviving, she was awakening. But outside, enemy ships descended, dozens of them. And Liam knew the final test was coming, not inside his heart, but on the battlefield. Asterisk between two worlds, smoke curled into the sky as enemy ships circled above the sanctuary, their dark shapes cast long shadows over the ancient valley. Inside the hardcore chamber, Liam stood between two glowing symbols, one human, one alien, both now pulsing with life. The baby rested in his arms, her light steady and warm. "She's changing," Miria said softly, her hand over her chest. "Her energy is syncing with this place. Like it knows her." Liam nodded. "She's connected to both sides, and maybe that's the problem." Miria looked at him, confused. "The world won't accept her if they keep seeing her as one or the other." Liam continued, "They need to see her as both." An alarm echoed through the walls, breaking the moment. A hologram lit up beside the main console, showing multiple strike teams landing outside the sanctuary. He saw human soldiers, armored and armed, advancing beside the alien enforcers from before. "They've joined forces," Liam whispered, stunned. Miria stared at the image, her voice sharp. "No, they haven't joined. They've been working together this whole time. They both fear the child." Liam clenched his jaw. "Then, they're coming to erase her." He turned to the console and began typing, trying to access any defense system the sanctuary still held. Miria walked toward a pedestal that began glowing beneath her touch. "This sanctuary is a living memory," she said. "There's a way to reach them without fighting." He looked up. "How?" "We activate the echo beacon," she said. "It sends a message across frequencies both humans and aliens use, but it only responds to the child." Liam placed the baby's pod on the pedestal. The lights dimmed, and the entire chamber began to hum. The baby opened her eyes, brighter than ever, and whispered one word: "Home." The beacon activated, and a beam of soft golden light shot into the sky, piercing the clouds. Every ship above froze in place. Every scanner blinked. With a new signal, one not seen in over 1,000 years, the language of peace, written by the original pact. "They'll hesitate," Miria said, "but not for long." Outside, human commanders and alien officers argued. Some ordered weapons to charge. Others paused, unsure of the signal. In one ship, a young human officer stared at the echo playing. On his screen, a small child sang the word "home" in both alien and human dialects. His hand trembled. "Sir, what if she's not the enemy?" he asked. His commander growled. "She's a threat." Back in the sanctuary, the main gate trembled as explosives hit the outer wall. "They're not waiting," Liam said, raising his rifle. "We can't hold them off forever." Miria stepped beside him, drawing a curved blade from the wall. "I'll fight with you," she said. For her. But the baby had other plans. She stood up in the pod for the first time, glowing so brightly they had to shield their eyes. Her voice echoed not just in the chamber, but in their minds. "No more fear," she said. "No more broken." Liam dropped his weapon slowly, stunned by the voice in his head. "She's inside our thoughts," he said. Miria nodded with tears in her eyes. "She's becoming the bridge outside the walls." Soldiers froze as their helmets began displaying strange signals, soft pulses, heartbeats, memories. One by one, they saw visions of their own children, of laughter, of love, of war and loss. The baby wasn't attacking them. She was showing them why they had to stop. Inside, Liam knelt beside her. "What are you doing?" The child looked at him, her eyes glowing deep violet. "Let them choose," she said. And then she fell backward, unconscious, her light fading fast. Miria screamed and rushed to her, but the pod was dimming. She gave too much. She sobbed. She opened herself to all of them. Liam held the child gently, his voice shaking. "She gave them the truth," he said. "But her body can't hold that kind of power alone." Suddenly, the heartcore responded, pulsing with a bright green light. The symbols of human and alien merged above the pedestal. A panel opened behind the chamber, revealing a cradle carved from crystal and metal shaped for a cradle child. "The original growth chamber," Miria whispered. Liam placed the child inside, and the chamber closed around her slowly. The lights turned gold, and a healing song filled the room. "She live," Miria said, falling to her knees. "She has to." Outside, the attack had stopped. Soldiers lowered their weapons, and commanders hesitated, unsure what to believe. Then from the hardcore tower, a new message broadcasted to every screen, every helmet, every ship. A message from the child's mind. One final sentence before she fell asleep. "Please, don't let me be the last." The pact renewed. The sanctuary stood silent, its ancient stones glowing under the morning sky. For the first time in centuries, the air felt still, not from fear, but from peace. Outside its walls, human soldiers and alien enforcers waited, not with weapons, but with questions. They had seen the child's message, heard her voice in their minds, and now they stood between orders and understanding. Inside the crystal cradle, the child slept peacefully, her light soft and warm. Liam sat nearby, watching every breath she took. His body was tired, bruised, but his heart was steady. He had come to protect her, but now he understood she had protected them all. Miria entered the chamber with slow steps, her silver skin marked with fresh scars. "The council ships are hovering in low orbit," she said. "They are demanding answers." Liam stood up and walked to the edge of the chamber, where an old console blinked quietly. "She gave them a message," he said. "Now it's time we finish it." He touched the panel, and a glowing circle appeared on the floor, a communication. Pillar rose from the center, humming gently. Miria stepped beside him, placing her palm on the opposite side. The console scanned them both, then displayed a message in 2 languages. "Dual lineage detected. Proceed with Alliance broadcast?" Liam didn't hesitate. "Yes," he said. "Broadcast it all." Across the skies of Earth and alien worlds, screens lit up. Soldiers and civilians saw the 2 figures, one human, one alien standing beside the sleeping cradle child. Then, the message began, simple and honest. "I am Liam Hunt," he said. "I was once just a man with no purpose, no home, no history. But today, I stand as the guardian of a child who carries both your blood and mine." Miria continued, "I am Miria of the Kalari, a mother who ran from war and found hope in the heart of a human. Our child, the first true bridge between us, chose peace and nearly gave her life for it." Liam looked into the lens. "If you destroy her, you destroy your future. But if you protect her, you may heal what your ancestors broke." The screen faded into silence, but the message echoed through every ship, every base, every heart. In one council chamber, an old human admiral sat back in his chair, staring at the screen. "She looks just like them," he muttered, "and yet, I see us in her too." Beside him, an alien elder placed a hand on the table. "We swore this union could never work," he said, "but maybe it already has." Back at the sanctuary, the ground shook gently as the hardcore responded. New symbols lit up the walls, no longer separate, but joined. A tree with 2 trunks and 1 crown. A future built not on control, but on trust. Cradle opened slowly, and the child opened her eyes. She looked around, blinking in the golden light, then reached for Liam's hand. "Still here," she said softly. Liam smiled, tears welling in his eyes. "Always." The sanctuary's doors opened wide, and this time, no one came with weapons. The first to enter were not leaders, but 2 young soldiers, one human, one alien, both lowering their helmets as a sign of peace. They knelt before the child and bowed their heads. Liam looked at Miria, who stood tall beside him. "She's not the only bridge," he said. "You and I, we chose each other." Miria smiled, her eyes glowing with quiet strength. "Then let them follow." As the council representatives entered, guided by the child's presence, the sanctuary transformed. Old systems reactivated, showing history, knowledge, and forgotten promises. The baby walked to the center of the chamber and touched the heartstone one last time. A final message pulsed through every network, every ship, every world that had once turned away. "I am not a weapon," she said. "I am not a mistake. I am the first. But I will not be the last." From that day forward, the pact was not just renewed, it was rewritten, with new hands, new hearts, and a guardian who was never meant to lead, but chose to anyway. And somewhere deep in the valley, beneath alien stars and human sky, a child smiled, not because she was safe, but because she was finally seen. The end.